Warning: this video contains discussions about violence and suicide. In Bruges ends with a twisted beat that makes the audience think, cry or laugh. The film introduced director Martin MacDonald and introduced the world to his unique style of comedy. He demonstrated such absurd and unpredictable drama that the characters were needed, and their conflicts became an impossible task. Almost as if paving the way for Inisherin's Banshee, Bruges offers some hilarious chemistry between Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson as the two try to figure out if they're friends. The film revolves around two assassins, Ray and Ken, who are sent to Bruges, Belgium for a new mission. Ray is worried about a recent mission where he accidentally killed a young boy. The moments when Ray and Ken perform together provide some of the best quotes from Bruges. While Ken enjoys the relaxed atmosphere of the historic city, Ray spends most of his time relaxing and whining. The two can't stand each other, but when Ken is tasked with murdering Ray, MacDonald's film takes a dramatic turn, leading to an ending where comedy and crime collide in unexpected ways. Why Ken was tasked with killing Ray? Right in the middle of the movie, it is revealed that Ken was sent with Ray to kill her. Harry, Ken and Ray's boss, explains that Ray has to die because he killed the kid, but admits it was an accident and arranges a merciful death after a leisure trip to Bruges, which Ray actually hates. This deadly black comedy leads to a harrowing conflict when Ken learns the reason he was sent to kill Ray. He finds himself in a dilemma. He doesn't necessarily like Ray, but he believes he deserves a moment, a chance. On the other hand, he is a professional assassin and has to perform tasks according to his instructions. In the film, suicidal thoughts are listed as a reason for empathy in Ken's case. Ken approaching Ray with a gun in the park only to see his target about to shoot himself needs to be interpreted. At that point, Ken empathizes with Ray's guilt, recognizing that he is a good man who is haunted by an uncontrollable tragedy. MacDonald doesn't give the audience easy answers, making In Bruges one of his best films, and it's up to the audience to decide whether each character's actions are moral. While Ken agrees with Harry that killing a child is unforgivable, his time with Ray shows how an untimely death takes its toll on his partner and that he deserves a chance to start over. Perhaps by letting Ray go, Ken eased the tension he was building within himself because he wanted to give up crime but didn't know how. Maybe it was all wrong, and Ken just impulsively stopped Ray from taking his own life, only to realize later that Ray really did deserve a chance at redemption. Why does Harry take his own life? Harry is a fascinating villain with many great quotes in the film. He is a criminal with a strict moral code, but his principles are nothing more than a condescending tool to make himself look superior to others. His rule of thumb is to never kill or order a child to be killed, stating that anyone who does must suffer the consequences, accidental or not, as is the case with Ray. Harry tells Ken that if he ever killed a child, he would take his own life on the spot because he couldn't live with that burden on his mind. Ken correctly mentions that each person deals with their burdens differently, and Harry's warped sense of morality does not apply to everyone. After one of Martin MacDonagh's big death trends, Ken miraculously survives long enough to warn Ray. Harry shoots Ray several times in the chest, and one of the bullets accidentally hits Jimmy in the head. Jimmy is a dwarf actor who dresses as a schoolboy. Thinking that Jimmy is a child, Harry has no choice but to end his life and stand by his principles. From the look on Harry's face, it looked like he finally understood Ray, but forced himself to insist on his morals. Their words didn't seem convincing at all, and he must have shot himself just to save himself. Respect after all. He's been through this whole mess because Ray accidentally killed a kid like he did. And it's another detour in Bruges that ends in a perfect shot. What is the historical significance of Bruges? Bruges is often referred to as a fairy tale city, which Harry likes to point out throughout the film. The city is key to understanding how Bruges became a crime masterpiece. With its quaint medieval charm, cobbled pavements, and small old buildings, Bruges looks like the perfect destination to soak up the beauty and innocence of the landscape. Harry sends Ken and Ray to Brig out of mercy. He plans to kill Ray, but wants to give him a good time so he can die in peace. However, it turns out that Ray absolutely despises the city and its strange charm. It reminds him of the innocent lives he has taken from the world. Ken, on the other hand, was only there to strike and was completely enthralled by every aspect of Bruges. The innocence of the town stands in stark contrast to the film's amoral characters, symbolizing their aimless quest for redemption. They are surrounded by an ancient and beautiful paradise, but they are too dependent on violent nature. The town is indeed a character, but the occasions when Ray goes out to interact with the town and its people are constantly interrupted by brutality or death. Finally, Ken's corpse falls from the sky in the middle of the city, attracting everyone's attention and igniting the film's climax. Ken is the only one who finds solace in the town, and he lives with the consequences. Brug's failure to calm the characters' anger backfired. Instead, they corrupted Brug with their anger. The truth about the end of I, Brug. effectively playing with the concept of good and bad. In Bruges introduces characters who, far from being good guys and iconic criminal duos, are all looking for redemption. Ray is constantly trying to convince himself that he's a terrible person and should pay for what he's done, while Harry keeps trying to push himself to be someone better than he really is. Amidst the chaos, Ken and Bruges act as mediators. The city influences him and he sees sweetness and charm around every corner, prompting him to stand up for what he believes is right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and support my channel.